Welcome to Half My Age, a weekly show in which a 25-year-old adult and a 50-year-old child help each other make sense of the world.
Well, Andrew, here we are. That was funny. I almost had to call in by phone, but we got it going. I didn't want to go to the phone call because I'm trying to keep some modicum of quality, but I've had some technical issues in the past week, Andrew.
You sure have. Do you want to give our listeners the Reader's Digest version of why you and I just spent 25 minutes on the phone troubleshooting audio hijack and Skype?
On my old machine, my old Macintosh book, adorable, my little air plant that we replaced 2 years ago. I resurrected her to my little air plant because my computer is currently with the Macintosh Corporation, because a week ago today, in fact, I set a kitchen fire.
You set a kitchen fire, Mrs. Filholm. What were you thinking? Was it intentional? Were you angry at the state of the world?
That's it. I'm done. Well, I am angry all the time.
I thought you loved the dollhouse. Was it at the dollhouse?
I do love the dollhouse so much. Yes, it was on my kitchen counter on the dollhouse. I had an unattended I had a flame can. It's a Yankee candle in a jar, the safe kind, and it has the most innocuous little basic bitch name, like apple cinnamon sugar.
Those are always the ones.
Sugared cinnamon. I know. It's the one that pack a mean punch.
The apple cinnamon sugar ones, those are the ones that are going to burn the whole place down.
We're going to burn it down. Oh my God. So much fire metaphor in my life lately too. Okay. Here's the thing. I didn't even think it was unattended. I didn't consider it unattended. I walked into the next room. I was in my bedroom, which, as you know, is 3 paces away.
Everything
the
in
candle
the dollhouse
was
is 3
everything. You can touch it, right? You can't be. How could it be unattended? It's like, it really was like coming around the corner, like if your baby's watching Teletubbies in front of the TV and you're in the next room making the bed and you come back into the room like no more than 5 minutes later and your baby is on fire. That's what it was like. The smoke alarm went off, and I mean, it was absolutely not more than 5 minutes. I actually think now that what I did was I had come in from running errands, had the candle going. I had everything just lit, sitting on my kitchen counter, like everything. I had just transferred to a purse that day that's like a tote. It's a Vera Bradley bag, if you want to know, and they're basically made out of nylon fibers. I think probably the strap of my tote purse fell over into the flame of the candle.
Oh, no.
And went up. The more I looked at, like, I really did, fire investigation, Andrew, as I looked at the charred remains of my... Well, here's the thing. You said, Reader's Digest version. Here's the thing. It was a miracle. It was very fast. There were only 3 or 4 casualties from the whole thing. I mean, I thought my kitchen counter was destroyed. It's not. My baseboard needs to be painted again, but it's not terrible. The casualties were my Coach wallet, which does bum me out because I really looked for that wallet for so long and thought it was going to be mine for the rest of my life. I mean, like my cousin Annette and Kim Dreiling helped me organize my wallet, taught me how to use my wallet like a grown-up. So that bums me out.
There's a leather brand that makes fancy leather goods, mostly for men. And their slogan is, your kids will fight over it when you're dead. And that's
how I felt.
That's how you felt about your Coach wallet.
Yeah, and some of my Coach purses are like that too. Anyway, it wasn't the Coach purse. If the Coach purse had been there, it's leather, I don't think this would have happened. It was the damn nylon shit. The bag itself, the Vera Bradley bag, is gone, and the cool little tassels that I had hung on the outside to be kicky, gone. The other casualties were the skin on my fingers. I put the fire out pretty much with my hands and feet. I'm so much pain, I can't even tell you. I've never been burned like this in my life. And my prescription sunglasses, but it's time for a new prescription anyway. It's a bummer. I'm going a couple weeks without them. And the muscle in my ass that I pulled so much while I was stomping out the fire. I have been in so much pain, and I stomped out the fire. I know. And guess what? I was wearing brand new boots. I had gone to one of my errands I had just gotten and exchanged some things, and I got these cool brand new boots, and I'm wearing them around the house like ladies do to make sure they don't blister me or, whatever, just to make sure I like them. Well, they're mine now because I stomped out a fire with them. And the truth is, they do give me a little bit of blister. They're banging. I'm keeping the boots. But
You're telling me
I'm like,
that-
well, they're mine now.
You're telling
I
me
stomped
that
out
the
a fire.
return policy doesn't cover fire stomping?
I don't think it would. I don't think fire stomping is part of it. One of the selling points, the guy, he was like, they're waterproof. I want to rate them. I'm going to go back to Dardano's and tell them they're also fireproof. They didn't even look scarred. But, oh, my God, Andrew, it was really scary. And honestly, it was 5 minutes. I whipped the fire extinguisher out from under the sink in the heat of the moment, like ripped off the safety pin, pulled the grenade and couldn't figure out how to use it. Honestly, I knew as soon as the fire was out, I took it outside and sprayed it. I'm like, I know how to use this. It's not hard. I lost my mind.
Sure, you
I
got
did
all
not
that
throw water.
adrenaline going. Yeah, it's crisis kind of situation.
Shit. And I think I'm good. And I was fine in those situations. I mean, I put the damn fire out myself, and I have a security system, fire came, blah, blah, blah. I didn't throw water on it, and I had a pitcher of water right there. I think deep inside, I thought it seemed like a grease fire because it was plastic. I mean, when I was patting things out, like stomping some, the problem was this on fire, melty plastic goo of my bag was flying everywhere. So I then turned over. I realized my laptop is there. Pull it out of there. I turn it over, and the truth is, it's mostly cosmetic damage, mostly to the skin that I had around the laptop.
Mm-hmm. You've got a pretty picture on the top of your
Yeah, you've seen the
lid.
picture. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so that it's a pretty picture of the scarring. Oh my God, it looked so. I was just sick. That was my main. The first person I contacted was you, my machine. And the fire department came, and they were so mean to me. They were really like, yeah, unattended flames, that's the number one reason for house fires, you stupid bitch. It was basically their attitude. I'm not kidding.
Well, I'm so glad that you're here to tell the story, and the dollhouse is still standing, and the only casualty is your Vera Bradley purse and your Coach wallet.
Uh-huh.
That seems like
that's right.
You got away with something on that day. 1 week
I know
ago.
it. No, I mean, for real, all of it. And I don't get, like, what's the reminder? What am I? I mean, I'm usually very careful. I really am. Now, Tal Filholm would tell you I'm not. Tal Filholm would, like, this is the manifestation of everything he ever thought about my ability to adult. So the self-talk in my head was pretty bad. It was pretty bad. I really felt like a freaking idiot. I do love the dollhouse. To think that something could be out of your control. It was, yeah, no, right. 5 minutes away. If I had been sleeping nighttime, it would, it was just crazy. Yep. And it all felt very lucky. So the upshot is with my laptop, you said just make sure you have something to back it up in case it does turn on. I did. It absolutely functioned. A couple of the ports are damaged. I took it in to Apple Care. I still, you sent me right away the documentation. I've still got a month left on our dang Apple Care. I took it in, and it was kind of interesting, right, to see it at the Genius Bar, their responses, like, look at this. And then there was a lot of calling people back to the Genius Bar and going, look at our machines. Look at this shit. It survived a fire, and it still actually works. It looked like there was a little damage to the screen. He called it water damage. Anyway, they are either restoring. He called it water damage, and like I said, I didn't throw water. And I don't know if it's, I think in my mind it was like kitchen fire. I can tell this is plastic. It feels like petroleum. It feels like oil. It feels like grease. I know better. Like I said, I tried to do the fire extinguisher. I think it's a blessing I was unable to do it because it probably would have jacked up my computer worse, Yeah. I wouldn't have been able to back up and stuff like that. So, and maybe part of me was like, don't throw water on that stuff. It's your, my wallet, everything important, right? My wallet, my computer, my phone was in it. But again, the case saved, the phone's totally fine. And my joke books, 3 different joke books were in the fire. I know. But they also just burned the bottoms of the pages because they were in that purse. And as my friend Jeff Cohn said, he's like, oh, the bummer about that is you burned your punchlines. The bottoms of the pages. I know. But honestly, the joke books even are totally legible. And if I, want to sit down with some charred pages sometime and transfer them into Google Docs, which I do from time to time, I've got all that. It really was amazing what wasn't hurt, but oh my God. Okay, so my machine is now with the Apple Corporation. I was expecting it back 2 days ago, maybe yesterday.
Well, I've been there before.
I know you have been there before. We have discussed this shit. And listen, when I call Apple Care to follow up, I tell them your story about, one computer recently went freaking missing. No, it was, so the day I was expecting it back, like 100%, like, okay, I've waited until Wednesday. Now I took it in on Friday. They said maybe as early as Tuesday. followed up because the online thing that I can follow says that it's pending shipment to the warehouse, to the repair facility. I'm like, no, they shipped it on Friday. Nah, it just got there yesterday. So I don't know. And there's really no way to tell. And you call a bunch of numbers and they're sort of nice. And they tell you, we don't know anything. And as soon as it's coming back to you, either repaired or replaced, because I have full Apple Care Plus, they'll send me an email. And they don't, I was like, well, are they going to like talk to me about it? Like, are they going to talk to me about sending me a new one versus a repair one? And they're like, no, they'll just send you an email telling you it's on the way. Watch for the package.
The thing I will tell you about my experience with sending a computer to Apple for repair is that the Apple part of the process, up until UPS lost the package, was really good. They sent my computer off. It arrived there in a timely manner. And then they turned my computer around like same day. They got it in, they did whatever they needed to do, and then they shipped it off almost immediately. So
see that they acted as though that is exactly what was going to happen. So your story tracks with my experience, where it was like, yeah, no problem. And I mean, the other weird thing is that I was with my friend and he came with me to the mall and he wanted to see the looks on the guys' faces when I pulled out my fiery computer, but only one person at a time could go in. And so anyway, all that kind of stuff funny. So we just went down and had a beer at the bar. I mean, it's fine. And I went like, okay, easy peasy lemon squeezy. They very much made it feel like it was just gonna be a quick turnaround. You'd probably get this machine back by Tuesday, maybe Wednesday. And then nothing. And and tracking Thursday. It down. And tracking it down yesterday, I finally got confirmation. Yeah. It's just with the It's been received now. And then the funny thing is that there's all these numbers and all this rigmarole. You got to, oh, by the way, on Tuesday night, I called and I was trying to follow up on this and, their centers had been closed early because of letting people vote. And then also you may not be surprised that a robot conversation I was having with Apple Care, it may be due to COVID-19 is what I'm saying, Andrew. It may be that the shipping /delays /every damn thing, remember, this is the best excuse in the whole wide world. Due to COVID-19, we didn't do it. Well, we're behind. We have no communication.
We know now, both of us from experience, that there's never really a great time to send your laptop away for any kind of amount of time.
Good golly, Miss Molly. Was yours during the shutdown or no?
No, mine was probably a year ago at this point.
Like November, December, right? Yeah, that's what I thought. So yours, yeah, it didn't. Oh my gosh, Andrew. So where my little MacBook Professional is in the world is unknown to me. I have powered up my old Adorable here. And I got to tell you one thing. It's really nice typing on a keyboard and trusting that what I type shows up. I've been using my, yeah. And sometimes the O or not. Andrew, I've been using my Logitech, Bluetooth keyboard, and that's fine. It certainly works better. But the joy, the thing is that then I have to deal with, like, I'm moving up the trackpad up here. Should I get a mouse? Blah, blah. God, the joy of this little machine, the ergonomic, I like the feel of the keyboard, and just to type in a password and go, oh yeah, it's going to take it because that's the actual thing I typed.
It is nice. And I have to say that of all my MacBook woes and my frustration with the Apple Corporation, my laptop has been functional. My latest one, the latest incarnation of laptop, Lappy, as I like to call it.
Lappy.
I just made that up. Nice. I've never said that once in my life. But it's been pretty solid. And I know that there are new MacBooks. They're going to announce them next week, and they're going to include the same kind of Apple-built CPUs that they've had in the iPhones and iPads for years. It's a humongous change. They're getting rid of Intel chips that they've had for, I don't know, almost 10 years at this point. I don't remember when they switched to Intel, but it's a big, exciting change and a great reason to buy a new computer, and I couldn't be less interested. I'm happy where I am. Once I got rid of that WR keyboard,
right? Yeah,
everything became perfect.
Well, I'm partially hoping that they'll just send me a new machine. But what they did promise me is that if not, they will restore it to factory specs. I'm like, sweet, they're gonna fix that keyboard then. Bet they're not. But anyway, Andrew, it's so much. Oh, I know. Okay, that's enough talking about computers. Nobody likes it at all. Oh, you want to hear something other weird about my fire? For real, this is weird.
Are you going to try to tie this back to ghosts somehow, Mrs. Filholm, or?
Oh, well, I don't know what to make. You tell me what to make of it, because it actually, no. The ghost, this is about Marsha Lane, my mother. she's talking to me, and it was kind of like we weren't realizing that this was happening on the exact same day as I had a fire. She was just telling me casually a story as I had lunch with her on Sunday at her house. She was saying, the other day my smoke alarm / carbon monoxide monitor went off in my bedroom. And it was saying, fire, beep, fire, beep. And I went in there and there was no fire. So she's telling me, so I took the battery out. I'm going, Mom, it might be a carbon monoxide thing. You don't just take the battery out because you get this was my thought process. I'm going, what? And then I realized she tells me, no, it beeps for fire when it's a fire and carbon monoxide when it's that. It's a whole long story. She takes it in, battery replacement, under warranty, bleep, bleep, bloop, 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 bloop. I realized a couple hours later, I said, Mom, when did you say that happened? Thursday afternoon, as my house was on fire, or right before. What do you make of that?
Huh. I couldn't.
I know it's just a coincidence, and you don't. And what does it mean? And what's she supposed to do next time something malfunctions? Call her daughter? I mean, that doesn't make any sense. There's not like a lesson. Same with
it, now that she knows that the fire alarm in her bedroom is cosmically aligned with you and
me. Maybe she will.
Right.
Maybe that's the thing.
That's
maybe it's
Lisa
like,
alarm.
Something. I need to call Lisa and make sure she's okay, or warn her. Or again, what would I do? You couldn't have warned me. I mean, again, I am now going, all right, I guess I can never have a candle. I mean, I would not have considered that unattended. It was in a glass jar, but it was unattended. And so I have lit a candle one time since that day and very nervous about it. But I mean, again, I don't really know what the lesson is except never have candles, which is unlikely in my life. And I've always been a candle person, and I always feel like I've been pretty careful with it.
It's just keeping things away from the candles, right? If your purse thing
of course.
was a foot further away, you wouldn't have had the issue.
Yep, of course. Right. So that's the obvious, like, just remember to be careful. But, certainly feels like, and I, within 5 days before that, I had specifically had a conversation with my cousin Kim about open flame, about candles in her house. She said to this other person, like, listen, I'm sorry, I'm just very nervous about open flames. Our grandparents had a fire in their kitchen because my grandma loved candles. I mean, I had specifically been warned against that. I've been listening to the Is We Dumb podcast with Dan Cummins and Joe Paisley, and those guys, like, I'm not kidding, in my ears for the 2 days before that, I've been listening to their show, and that one of their segments is like, dumb shit you've done. And one of them was about a guy, lighting a fire with the gas can right near. So listeners are writing in their hilarious stories about how dumb they are. Like, my fiance lit the leaves on fire. She didn't know I had doused them with gasoline. Fire was in my brain. Last time we recorded, I did a big long, when I heard it back, I was like, Lisa, a little English major, but also is solid, saying things burn down and then new growth comes. And I think we're talking about me in comedy or whatever. Jesus, I couldn't have had more metaphors about fire in my brain. And then, anyway,
do you remember my hilarious take? Once you said you had a candle-related fire, I said this was bound to happen. We knew it was coming, and I drew a diagram for you.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, you did a good Venn diagram.
So it's a Venn diagram, two circles. One circle is Catholicism. The other circle is shamanism. And Mrs. Filholm is right in the middle, candles. That's you. Candles,
all candles. I guess that's right. Everywhere around me. I bring the light, man. The other thing that's funny is I asked you, am I the Schlemiel or the Schlimazel in this case? And you went, you're both. You're a one-woman show. That's a good joke. Sorry I didn't use it in a way you appreciated on Instagram, but that's funny.
Because you've been saying, steal my jokes, you gotta deploy them tactically.
I'm just working out. That's like, are you kidding? That's an open mic. That's going to be in my set pretty soon. That's going to be, I'm just working it out. I'm testing the waters. I'm getting the words out.
When you make a Schlimazel joke, I know that's funny and you know that's funny, but I got to believe that the Venn diagram of people who think that's funny is probably pretty small. What do you think?
Because they don't understand what it means? I think that you could make and that's literally why you practice with it. Comics will get it. You practice with it because I think the joke doesn't have to be those Yiddish words for it. It can be straight man, stooge, the comedy construct of the person who spills the soup and the person who has the soup spilled upon them. And it's interesting to me because recently, right, you've called me that I always have the soup spilled upon me, and I would never have categorized my life like that. I think I'm really lucky and great things happen to me all the time. And yesterday I'm telling a friend about the time I had an entire minivan stolen out from under me. And I catch myself telling stories going, oh my God, I have soup thrown on me all the time. And I don't really identify with that. I don't feel like, oh my God, the world just keeps sending me, I don't have that identity in my head.
You don't come across as an Eeyore at all.
Or a yeah, just idiot who, right. I know. Yeah. Victim or whatever. Isn't that funny? Oh, well. Anyway, so we had a fire, and that's why my computer, and we were going to record by phone because Skype was being cuckoo bananas. Hey, the way I fixed it, I don't know if I shut everything down as we said, and I also went and grabbed Skype. I went to Safari instead of Chrome just because that's what seemed to be crashing it. It's an old computer. I'm really appreciative that she's coughed herself back to life to give me a few more days while I wait for my actual machine. But I didn't want to record by phone because I am trying to impress a new listener, and I really want my voice to sound as good as possible, Andrew. Also, voiceover jobs.
Well, that's a very special listener. I've never we've never targeted our show at a specific person before, so it must be a big, exciting thing.
Really? Because I feel like it's almost always targeted to like Aunt Christy.
Or maybe perhaps my mother.
Your mother, of course. Lisa Bridges. I don't think we talked about it. Your wedding pictures were just...
Aren't they great?
They made me cry. I don't think we talked... Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Delaney looked so beautiful.
She always does. That's her thing.
I mean, I know she... She totally always does. And I knew she... I mean, how could she not be a beautiful bride? But, like, just even beyond... And your mother's dress. I don't know if we talked about that. Kim Dreiling and I looked through this album, and we really appreciate Lisa's dress. Good job, Lisa B. It's really cool.
Good work,
dress.
Mom.
Good work, Mom. And Delaney's, oh my God. Oh no, she looked beautiful. Those were great. What a beautiful day. And now the world is on fire again, and it looks like we're even more maybe. Last night, my comedy show got shut down because guess what? Tear gas. Hey.
Tear gas? Was there a riot?
It's hard to do hilarious. Mm-hmm. It was starting to happen. It wasn't really a riot. Oh, we were on East Colfax, and Antifa march walked by. And we saw the cops staging, and we saw the people staging, and I don't know. We read about it today on the news. It seemed to be getting ugly downtown, but the bar just said everybody's windows are boarded up and stuff in anticipation, you know? And so it was one of those places. And then later in the night, I had a friend who was out checking it out on his bicycle, and he circled back and he said, yeah, there's tear gas on that actual block. It's not fun telling your little jokes in that kind of environment, atmosphere, and actually tear gas would have made it really bad. So the bar owners just shut it down. I mean, like right as the mic was supposed to start, I was bummed. I was, that's my playground.
Well, I'm impressed, Mrs. Filholm. One is that you were out in the thick of it or very near it. And two,
sure was.
That we made it 23 minutes into this podcast without even getting anywhere close to the hotly contested election.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about it at all. Ugh. Nope.
That's pretty good.
I have nothing to say about that. Yeah. No, I mean, I know that, but it was just,
You kind of took one for the team by lighting your kitchen on fire so that people didn't have to hear about politics.
Oh, yeah. Well, I was not going to talk about politics at all. Been doing some sick sidewalk chalk art.
I noticed that.
Once again, in these times, that's all I can do. Isn't it good?
Yeah.
Yeah. I found the source on the professional chalk.
You found the source. You got a new hookup. A brand?
I got a hookup for another of my junky behaviors. I don't know the brand because it literally comes in. I should check out the brand. It's gorgeous. It comes, just in blocks, and you pick it out and you put them into a box. At Meinigers, that's where I've gotten it.
Meinigers.
That's
where the fancy pants, the professional sidewalk chalk artists are going to Meinigers.
Mm-hmm.
Meinigers.
Yeah, and it leaves a bit of a stain, to tell you the truth.
Nice.
You can tell the difference. Yeah, I know. I'm really doing vandalism now. I mean, it goes away, but even in my neighborhood where I've been, like stuff that's been there through we've only had one day of precipitation since I did this thing a few weeks ago. We had one snow, and it was a cold snow. It wasn't like sloppy wet, but you could still read what it says.
Well,
yeah, it's funny. So it's temporary, but it makes a little stain. It leaves a mark, Andrew.
Everything does.
Right.
Everything. I've been thinking about marks a lot recently. My fancy wedding ring. So it's kind of brushed finish to it. And everything I touch, whether it's like a ceramic mug or the countertops or a door handle, everything leaves just a little itty bitty mark on it somehow. And initially that kind of bugged me, right? Because it's brand new. It's,
leaves a mark on your ring? Mm-hmm. Like, what do you mean? Scratches it?
Yeah, just the brushed finish has blemishes and imperfections now. But now I'm thinking about it, and you don't want to have to be precious about everything you do with your left hand. Now
No.
I'm excited because of the blemishes are they're the decoration. They're what makes it look cool and pretty. Right?
It's the crack filled with gold. It's kintsugi.
Kintsugi. Do you know what's funny?
Kintsugi.
I've been hearing a lot of people throw around the term wabi-sabi recently.
Yeah, me too. Same thing.
It's coming back. Well, I don't know when it went away, but I've been hearing wabi-sabi a lot, which is also about the imperfection and the.
I think it's the same exact. I think it's the same exact. Me too. I've been hearing it too, and I think it's that kintsugi pottery where they fill the cracks with gold, and I talk about it in my book, and I always use that Leonard Cohen thing. There's a crack in everything. That's how the light gets through, and the imperfection is the beauty in a thing. So you're right. The dents and the marks on that ring will tell the story of your life and your marriage, and I think that's what makes it beautiful. I would you're a man, doesn't matter. But the problem with that is that this is exactly how I feel about my face. I've been back to the Botox jokes and holding a business card in the creases of my forehead, Andrew, just so you know.
Well, good. I'm glad you got your 11s back enough to be funny.
Damn, because they're really, that's like, it is, I get it. And I even sometimes say it on stage, like, I get it. This is the story of my life written on my face. I should not feel bad about it, but it sucks. And right now, I am not kidding. I am going to have some ragged scarring on my fingers from I've never been burned this badly in my life. And all right, there you go. I'll have a good story about it. I don't want a good story stories are great. I don't really care about my fingers, but how they look, I really desperately need them to work.
I think you've told me before that you have asbestos fingers. I think that's something that's come out of your mouth before.
I have not said asbestos fingers. Do you mean that I don't have feeling in my fingertips?
In that you often, back when you were firing a lot of pottery, you would pull that shit out of the kiln way too early, burn your hands.
Totally.
And it was just, it wasn't so much an injury as a way of life.
Yeah, totally right. I don't have much feeling in my fingertips. So if somebody's at the oven pulling something, I'm like, I can probably grab that with my bare hands if you want. Not that bad, but but yes, right. I didn't. That's a good term for it, asbestos fingers. But I think that's your term. I appreciate it. But this is like the tops and underneath my finger. This is the very. I know. And like right now, I really got to go out and do some yard work and rake my leaves, and it's like my hands hurt. I'm putting on gloves and I've got some silver cream and all of this, but it's just taken a long time. I don't know if it's that long to heal, but oy.
Do you remember my kitchen fire story?
Was it a turkey?
It was a turkey. It was in Prague during my study abroad. And we were using an oven that probably had not been used in years and certainly hadn't been cleaned in decades. And
in Eastern Europe,
an apartment building with probably 20 families living in it, and there's a massive conflagration inside the oven. And I know, like you said, so on some kind of subconscious level, you thought it was a grease fire, so you didn't immediately throw the pot of water on it. And I knew that water on a grease fire was a no-no, but I'd also been drinking, and it was kind of an exciting moment. I wasn't doing my best thinking. I said, wait a minute, that's not water. We can use that. And you know what that was? That was a pot of coffee.
Coffee.
Which is actually just brown water.
I see.
So
brown water.
I made the grease
did it
fire
make it worse,
much,
Andrew?
much worse. It got super exciting for a second. Not that it wasn't already exciting. But ultimately,
how about just closing that oven door? Do you think that would have put it out?
Well, we were watching the massive fire inside the closed oven. We were like, that shit's coming out.
That sits on fire. And then you opened it, threw coffee on it. It got worse.
Yep. And then I don't remember exactly how it got put out. I think what we did, so it was, there was a pan in there, and we pulled out the pan and maybe put in another pan to smother. I don't know how he fixed it, but I do remember that putting coffee on it was not a good idea.
Really, yeah. I do remember that. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. My son George is going to be staying at college this year with the wrestling team. And he was talking about how they're going to, do their own Friendsgiving. And also it's nice to be with a bunch of other wrestlers because Thanksgiving is a horrible holiday because it's right before weigh-ins for the season, typically, when things are normal. And wrestlers are all not eating and gorging, so he was excited. But I got to warn him about a fire in the turkey. Maybe my mom's alarm will go off. Fire, turkey,
I wonder where
George is in trouble. I know. It's like, is that Marsha's bat signal? Lisa's in trouble. Oh no. My approach to it was smother the fire. I very much knew that that's what I had to do. I'm kind of proud of how I put it out, honestly, because I did it. But I was shaken. I was shaken. And really, I thought I was like my kitchen counter. And this guy, friend of mine, who we're not actively talking about, came over and went to Ace Hardware, got all the right scraper things and just scraped it. And my kitchen counter is really almost unaffected, and said the greatest thing ever, well, two greatest things. He's like, everybody, accidents happen. And that's what homeowners insurance is for. And I went, oh, right. I mean, including my computer, because I was going, oh my God, I'm going to have to buy a new machine. It's like, that's what homeowners insurance for. Oh, yeah, actually, right. Yeah, right. It's not really nothing. Very little was harmed. Like I said, the self-talk me, how could I do that? What an idiot you are. That was part of it, but it didn't last too long. And it's pretty funny. And we all so be careful. I probably am not always careful. And that was a good reminder, I guess, to do be careful. I don't know. Very Jane Eyre, fire. I don't know if you remember how prevalent the theme of fire is in that book. And almost always it stands for the warmth of hearth and home and raging love in your heart. But there is the destructive fire element of it too, which I thought about when I was stamping out that fire. Like, yeah, I'm Bertha in the attic, lighting the house on fire. Oh my God.
It is kind of interesting. That duality of fire you just mentioned. Like Delaney and I, sometimes when we're looking for television we can both agree on, we turn to Survivor, old seasons of Survivor. And in Survivor, they say fire represents your life, and when your fire goes away, you're out of the game. And contrast that against the last 2 months of life in Colorado, where the state's just been on fire. It's been tremendous death of our living environment. And people's houses have burned down, and livestock gets burned up, and it's just very
and all the smoke in the air that we've talked about, the destruction of fire, so scary. I know. Yeah. Do you remember? There's an old Saturday Night Live sketch. I should actually find it. And it's a interview, talk show style interview with who? Tarzan, Frankenstein, and I think it might be Tonto from the Lone Ranger or something like that. Kind of proto-verbal characters.
Way to bring it around from Wabi-Sabi to Kemo Sabe.
Oh, God, Andrew.
Ding,
wow.
ding, ding.
Oh, ding, ding, ding. Damn. I don't even want to go on, but I will. So the question is, fire, good or bad? And it's so funny, right? Do you know that sketch? And Frankenstein's going, fire, good. And I think one of them, Tarzan, says, fire, bad. Yeah, fire is good and bad. Do you know that sketch that I'm talking about?
I do not, but I'll have to look it up.
I shall have to send it to you. It's pretty old school funny. It's pretty early SNL. Okay, what else? What else you got, Andrew?
I think that's it, Mrs. Filholm. We're at 33 minutes by my record.
It's exhausting.
And
I'm sorry to the listener. Ooh, I do have follow-up from listener Christine. She could confirm that she came to the Air Force Academy dance with me.
Oh, yeah?
In the early 90s.
And were you an asshole?
Late 80s. She did not confirm that, but I think that's just out of her politesse. She's polite. She said to me, I will answer. I have my own recollection of this evening. I will answer, but right now I'm very busy with a bunch of things. And then she, I'm saying, I think she just doesn't want to confirm to me that I am an asshole. But in that communique, it was very funny because she wrote and said, yes, Lisa, I very much remember going to that Zoomy dance. And that's what we called those boys. Zoomies, and I have lately been reminded how much they hate it. That's a very not okay term. They're cadets, Andrew. They're fly boys, but we would call them Zoomies coming over. Oh my God, I was an asshole. So anyway, I've got the follow-up that she confirmed that happened and she was there. Good to know. As per me being an asshole, really, let's all have these are hard times. These are hard times if you can't say anything nice.
Well, I figure...
Don't say anything at all. Mrs. Filholm doesn't need to be reminded.
I figure whether you're an asshole or not doesn't really matter, because at this point you're paying for it with your house fires and that sort of thing.
Yeah, karmic.
So pretty soon you're going to have some good karma headed your way if you keep getting...
I have all the good karma. I don't think I'm an asshole. And that's the funny thing is, as much as...
Of course you don't. Nobody does,
gets spilled on me.
Nobody thinks they're an asshole.
Well, that's a good point. But I also don't think of myself as the Schlimazel. I don't look at my life as like, oh my God, it's been a series of unfortunate events at all. I think I'm the star in the movie of my life, and mostly it's pretty good. So I guess that's even a funny character. She doesn't know that the world is throwing soup on her. She just keeps going.
That's right.
That tracks.
You got that plucky stick-to-itiveness.
I guess I do. Good God in heaven. It's what we need. Hope we get to keep doing shows and all that stuff. But anyway, it's been good talking to you on my old computer, and I hope I get my new one back.
Nice talking to you too, Mrs. Filholm. I hope the same.
Thanks, Andrew.
I hope it comes back better than it was before.
Thank you. My love to Delaney.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Andrew.